When it comes to the world of automobiles, appearances can be deceiving. Some cars may seem ordinary on the outside, but they pack a remarkable punch under the hood. These hidden gems are known as sleeper cars, unassuming vehicles that surprise everyone with their exceptional performance. Join us as we unveil the top 10 sleeper cars of all time, showcasing the unexpected power that lies beneath their unremarkable exteriors. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Before, please like and share the video, subscribe to this channel, and click the bell icon for more updates. Number 10. Derived 6.0-liter V8 that put out 361 horsepower and 385 pounds-feet of torque. It was fairly difficult to tell a GT model from a base model as the styling cues didn't change much at all from model to model. Upgraded wheels and quad exhaust tips differentiated the two, but from afar it was near impossible to tell if you were about to challenge a Corvette-powered G8 or not. Later Pontiac offered a slightly less sleepy GXP model with racier bumpers and flashy wheels. In that model you got a punched-out 6.2-liter V8 now producing 415 horsepower. You also got access to a manual transmission. This thing was basically a hot rod in fancy cop car clothing. Number 7. 2023 Lexus IS 500. Every time a Lexus IS drives by, pinning it as a 350 or 500 is incredibly difficult. The styling changes are so minuscule that you'd have to either see the quad tailpipes or hear the sound coming from them in the form of glorious 5.0-liter V8 rumbles to tell it's an IS 500. Thankfully, the team at Lexus hasn't overbadged it too. Its full name of Lexus IS 500 F Sport Performance might be silly and a sellout of calling it a full ISF, but its only badges say IS 500, and from far away reading IS 350 versus IS 500 is difficult. This car is a true sleeper. It's not even that loud at idle, but one crack of the throttle and 470-plus horsepower are unleashed seemingly out of nowhere. It might be the ultimate daily driver that you can and should still buy today. Number 6. 2003 Volvo V70R. Although not the original go-fast Volvo wagon, the V70R was the less obvious sleeper. It was also the one that arguably brought back the idea that fast Volvos could be taken seriously. Since the V70R, beefed-up Volvo vehicles have been around in some form or another. R and R design models have injected a sportiness to Volvo that hadn't been seen in the decades before. After the Rs came Polestar, which also brings subtle speed to the equation. The Volvo V70R might be one of the most subtle performance offerings from any brand ever, with the slightest of hints at its performance edge. A normal-looking set of 5-spoke wheels and an extremely minimal rework of the bumpers are all that set it apart. It appears nearly as pedestrian as any other wagon on the road, and because of that, it makes an exceptional sleeper with nearly 300 horsepower from its Oral inline-5 engine. Number 5. 2012 Buick Regal GS. The Regal GS was undeniably beautiful. In the base model, looks were only okay, but the GS model brought a luxurious feel to the car. Large wheels, a reworked bumper and body panels took the humble Regal and seemed to bring it up a class or two. It didn't look particularly fast, but elevated elegance was more its thing. The Regal GS was by no means a rocket ship, but it did offer a spicier 2.0-liter turbocharged engine that made 270 horsepower and nearly 300 pounds-feet of torque. For the time, these were very healthy numbers for a 2-liter engine, even if it was a bit of a heavyweight. Number 4. 2004 Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG W211. The W210 E55 AMG was always going to be a tough act to follow, but come the early 2000s and Mercedes really did outdo themselves. Credited with being the super sedan that started the German horsepower wars that still wages on to this day, the W211 E55 AMG was a revelation. In fact, Doug DeMoro called it one of the greatest German performance sedans of all time. Built between 2003 to 2006, the W211 E55 packed a hand-built 5.5-liter supercharged V8, straight out of the SL of its day. While the 469 horsepower may not sound like much by modern standards, the 516 pound-feet of torque and the soundtrack sure will impress. Power was routed exclusively to the rear wheels via a 5-speed automatic gearbox. This humble-looking Merce could get to 60 miles per hour in just 4.5 seconds, and the top speed was limited to 155 miles per hour. Take the limiter off and you're looking at 180 miles per hour, making it the fastest production sedan of its day. Number 3. 2004 Cadillac CTS-V. A car no one expected from a brand with a shaky future. The original Cadillac CTS-V launched the V Performance division and might have helped bring some much-needed youth-filled enthusiasm back to the brand known for catering to a more seasoned generation. Since then, multiple generations of the CTS-V have been produced, a smaller ATS, both of which have been replaced by the CT4 and CT5V and now Blackwing models. Today, even an Escalade V exists, if you're into that sort of thing. It's been a bit of an alphabetical roller coaster, but the essence is still the same: take GM's best powertrains and build upon them whilst providing solid chassis tuning. The cars aren't particularly light, but they are always fast, and later V models tend to outhandle the competition. V cars have traditionally been more restrained in the looks department, and the very first V, the 2004 CTS-V, is the prime example. A set of chrome wheels, big brakes and shiny mesh grille are all that visually set the V apart from the normal CTS. You'd never know a 400 horsepower 5.7-liter Corvette engine lurks beneath. Number 2. 1996 Ford Taurus SHO. Get ready for the show, or SHO, rather. The third-generation Ford Taurus SHO was something of a Frankenstein, and it's wonderfully awful, yet glorious at the same time. Known as the Bubble Taurus because of its highly organic bubbly and oblong styling, it was the epitome of questionable 90s design. Looking back, however, there is a sort of nostalgia to the car as it, by today's monotonous repetitive design culture, seems like a breath of fresh air. This would be the third iteration of the SHO high-performance model of the Taurus, and Ford made sure to make it special under its plump skin. This time around, the SHO would sport a V8. Not just any V8, but one with heads designed by engineering experts Yamaha, and the block from other engineering experts at Cosworth, a company Ford has worked with in the past on other racy models. This front-wheel drive, V8, oblong wonder was the epitome of a sleeper. Number 1. 1984 Mercedes-Benz 190e February 3, 16. One of the most sought-after sleepers in existence is the illustrious Mercedes-Benz 190e. In February 3, 16 guys, the 190e was the sleeper nobody asked for, but Mercedes needed to go racing. A homologation road car resulted, and it's so perfectly a sleepy race car-derived sports sedan. The styling is so subtly different to the average eye that this car is exemplary of the times when badging was relevant. The 2.3-liter, 16-valve engine was a regulation-abiding capacity for 4-cylinder DTM racing edges of the time. 190e has, and will always stand as an early performance icon for Mercedes-Benz, and for the sleeper enthusiasts, it should be regarded as one of the best examples of the recipe. In the world of automobiles, the concept of sleeper cars continues to captivate enthusiasts and drivers alike. These vehicles remind us that appearances can often be misleading, and true power lies beneath the surface. From unassuming sedans to unsuspecting wagons, these top 10 sleeper cars of all time have left an indelible mark on automotive history, proving that it's not just the flashy exteriors that define a car's performance prowess. Thanks for joining us on this video. As always, stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.